A new Mishnah.
A new Mishnah, so you could join us. One second. Let me just. Let me go to the first Menachem.
He's by family in California.
Yeah, sein Sohn. Live Shiurim. Should be on. Yeah, we are on. WhatsApp.
Okay. Go.
Hold on 1 second.
Daf Yudam and Beis the Mishnah, yeah? We started last time, I think, a little bit. We started the Mishnah, but let's start again.
Daf Yud Amud Beis the Mishnah. Okay, 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, so Yudam and Beis the Mishnah. It's speaking about Muktzeh and Muchan. On Yom Tif, one has to prepare whatever he's going to use on Yom Tif. For example, if you're on a shecht and eat birds and pigeons on Yom Tif.
Yeah, okay. Yud Amud Beis the Mishnah. Yud Amud Beis the Mishnah. Yeah, we're starting now. You're with us? Okay. Hatzlacha, I'll talk to you. Bye.
He's not going to wait.
No,
he's not. No, okay.
He's not.
So, so you have to prepare the birds beforehand if you want to shechter on Yom Tif. Last mission we spoke about the Machlikas B'Sham B'Hillel, if you have to actually touch the birds and feel it, for whatever reason B'Sham says you have to feel it. And B'Hillel say you have to just do it b'peh, to announce that I'm going to be using tomorrow on Yom Tif this and this bird to shecht. So it's called Muchan, is to prepare the birds, and Muktzah is something that was not prepared before. Zimein is also to designate, the same idea as Muchan. Says the Mishnah, Zimein shechayrim u'matzah levanim. A person came to his shayvach, to where he has his pigeons, and he prepared black pigeons. This is out of Yom Tif, and it comes on Yom Tif morning, u'matzah levanim, he finds white pigeons. So obviously, the ones that he prepared, they flew away, and these are new pigeons that were muktzah, not muchan. Or levanim u'matzah shchayrim, he prepared white ones, and he found black ones. Shnayim u'matzah shloisha, he prepared 2 pigeons, and he found there was a 3rd pigeon there. In that case, asurim, they're all going to be asur. The first 2 cases are obvious. The birds you found on Yom Tif were not the same ones you prepared before Yom Tif. And the 3rd case is also pashut, because you have an extra bird here that came in, mixed together with the other 2 birds, and that bird is muktzah because it was not prepared. And now you have 3 birds. 2 of them are muchan, or mezuman, and 1 is muktzah.
So the real problem is that he was not able to identify the muchan.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah, right. Sure, right.
They're
Exactly.
Sitting there.
If you would know,
if you don't know, then the third was not a problem.
Right. And even if he doesn't know, he had the concept of roiv. So why can't he use all 3? The Gemara will discuss this, and we'll have also a toises on the top. We'll also discuss this in. Yeah. Okay. But Lapel, he says, being have a 3rd bird that was not prepared, you can't use any of these 3 birds. The next case of the Mishnah, this is going to be a case of mutter. Says the Mishnah weiter. Shloisha, however, if you prepared 3 birds, 3 pigeons, or matzah shnayim, you found 2. So there, what could we assume? Okay, all 3 are fine. 1 flew away. Mutarim, they're also going to be all 2 are mutar. We'll see what's the chiddush of this din. Now, another din, b'soich hakein, you prepared it while they were inside the cane, inside this coop, or this a place where they live. Umatzah lefnei hakein, and you came on Yom Tif a morning, and you found those pigeons were in front of the cane. Here it's asurim, it's asur. Now this is why should it be asur? Maybe they just simply jumped out of the coop and went to the front. So we're gonna assume that no, the birds that were inside originally muchan, they flew away to the world, and what came back here were new birds, and they landed in front of the coop. We'll see why in the Gemara. Next din, a clarification. The first din, the im ein sham Elohim harei mutarim. We'll see the Gemara will explain if in the whole vicinity there's no other pigeons to be found. So there's definitely no reason to believe that pigeons came from outside and rested here in front of this cane. In that case, those pigeons found in front are going to be muchon and you're allowed to use it. Yeah, that's the end of the Mishnah. Let's look into Rashi. Says Rashi, Zimen Shechayrim, if someone was Mezamen, he prepared and identified black ones, says Rashi, V'lo Sham Oid, and there were no other birds there, only black birds. Ulamacha, the next morning, the next day, Matzah Hake Levanim, you found all your birds were white. So here, definitely those birds that were designated to be used for Yom Tif, they went away, they flew away. And these birds were other birds who came from the world to the Shevach. That's the first case. Also, says Rashi Shnayim, if the second case you designated 2, Umatzah Shloisha, and you found the Yom Tif morning 3, it's also the same thing. The Ein Makil, as you mentioned, Rabbi Sabagi, and he can't identify as a Muchanim. You can't identify which one are Muchan. Says the Din, Kulam Asurim, they're all going to be Asur. The next case was Shloisho Matzah Shnayim. If you designated 3 and you found 2, the Din is Mutarim, it's going to be Mutar. Says Rashi, Ha'echad, why are we going to say Mutar? Because you had a Chatchila 3. Ha'echad halach, one bird you assume flew away to the world. V'hashnayim nisharu. And the other 2 were left over, so those 2 are much. You lost the bird in stake. You could have shech the 3 birds if you want, but you don't have the third one. So whatever was left over is considered muchan. Oh, what's going to be the chiddush over here? So Rashi says Rashi already. What the Gemara will say, v'lo yamirina, and we don't say hoyil v'ha'echad halach. Maybe it's fun to say, being that one flew away, must have the whole group flew away. It could be as fun to say, if one pigeon flew away, maybe all 3 of them as a group flew away. And you have 2 birds there, 2 new pigeons came away. Maybe it says Rashi, no, we don't say that. We're not going to say that because one flew, the whole group of 3 flew, and these are new birds, and therefore it should be muktzah. He says no. We could assume only one flew away. The Gemara will have a whole issue about this. Concerning goes when it comes to finding mois of Ma'aser Sheni. The same idea. If you put down 2 manna, for example, and you found later 1 manna, do we say, that was separated, or the entire group was taken away, and this is a new one. We'll discuss this later. How can we compare the idea of birds that are able to move around to wallets, to kiss a wallet? You also have the same assumption that it's possible that a person by mistake took one, not the other. That's just Shina in the Gemara. Let's continue Rashi. We don't say being one flew away. If so too all of them flew away. You found 2 birds. Maybe the 2 says Rashi. We don't say that it's going to be muter. The next case says Rashi.
Why is he going so machmir? The whole thing is muksa.
Yeah.
So the only one that can make muksa muter is the chacham, because that's their invention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why has to be machmir?
Actually, it's not. He's saying the din is it's muter, but lo, we don't say. He's telling us. We don't. You could say maybe maybe we would be machmir, but you could assume that all 3 went away. The 2 are new ones, and therefore you can make it asur. Says Rashi, no, the Mishnah says it's mutter. We are being takemekel in this third case of the Mishnah. We're being mekel and saying that the 2 that are here were from the original 2, and they're not new 2 birds. We're actually mekel. Next case, zimein b'toich hakein u'matzah lefnei hakein. This is already a location, a little bit of just a little different. You examine them in the cane itself, and you found them Yom Tov morning just in front of the cane. So what could be the problem over here? It says Rashi, u'b'toich hakein l'matzah klum, and in the cane you found nothing. So we say harei elu asurim. It's going to be asur. The mother of Feierstock, it's very wondrous. Why should it be asur? Why not assume simply it jumped out from inside to outside? Why assume it came from the world? The mother will discuss this. Let's look into the Gemara. Dr. Gemara, the first case of the Mishnah is Pashit. If you examine white and you found black, or vice versa, obviously the ones you found are not the ones that you are muchan, so you can't use on Yom Tiv. Oh, my Rabbi, hoch my skin on the speaker, and this is a different case. The case is against Shazimein Shchayrim Ulevanim. Actually, let's say, for example, you examine 2 black ones and 2 white ones. The black ones were on the right coop, and the cane on the right side, the right compartment, and the white ones were on the left compartment. You woke up in the morning, and you found shchayrim b'makim levanim. You found on the right-hand side black ones instead of the white ones, and the white ones instead of the black ones. So the location was a change. In this case, you might think big deal. Maybe they just exchanged it. One jumped here, they jumped, the other one jumped to the other one. Says the Gemara, You might think, Poshet, Hani, Inhu, Ninhu, these are the same 4 birds here, the 2 white and 2 black. But Joseph is Hapuche, it's Hapuch. Maybe they just exchanged. One went here, these 2 went here, these 2 went there. Kamash Malo, and actually the mission is telling us a chid, a very big chiddush. And in this case, we're machmir, and we're going to say no. Hanoch Ozdul Alma. These white ones there on the right, they flew away to the world, and the new 2 black ones came in. And new black ones came, and the white ones also. The white ones flew away, and black ones came in its place. Why would we assume such a thing? It's more pashut to say that this one went to this one there. Says the Gemara, from this din is a Rayim, Messiah Rab Chanina. The Omer Rab Chanina said it's a Messiah, it's a help, it's a Rayim to Rab Chanina's din. How we know, a very famous Shaila. You have Roiv, there's many Chazokas that you go by. The question is, if you have one Chazaka versus another Chazaka, which one is stronger? Like Roiv is a Chazaka. You assume something comes from the Roiv. Koroiv is a Chazaka also. Something is close to something else. We know Roiv from the Torah, and we know Koroiv from the Torah. Roiv, we know Achrei Rabbi Lahatis. The Torah tells us by anything, like people, Rabbonim, Dayonim, or even Bechal, when it comes to Trumas and different things, everything is, you go according to Roiv. And also, where do we know Koroiv from? Also from the Torah. We know it from Egla Rufa. It says that the person was killed, right? And we don't know, we measure the closest city, and the guilt goes on the people from that closest city. So Kor was also a chazakah. It's close to somewhere else. And there's many other types of chazakas. So the child is always going to be in Shas whenever you have one chazakah for Aleph, other chazakah for Beis. What are you going to choose? So to also here, there is a chazakah that there's a chazakah of Korev. What is Korev? The white ones that now are in the place of the black ones came from where? From right next to it, Korev, close to it. But there's another chazakah. The majority of the birds in the world are all muktzah. So maybe these birds here came from the world, which is a Rayim. Rayim birds in the world are muktzah. Korev is the ones that are mucha next to it. So l'chayda, we have a Rayim from here. If you have a shaila of Korev or Rayim, what's machriya? Rayim is machriya. So l'chayda, from our Mishnah Paskins that we say you have to, it's all going to be muktzah, and the birds came from elsewhere, from the Rayim, is a siyua to Rab Chanina, maybe. Says the Gemara. So that Rab Chanina, the Machanina, Rayim, the Korev, if you have to choose and you want to determine if the fowl did over the Korev, halech acher harayv. Says the Gemara, no, not necessarily. It's not necessarily a Rayim from Rab Chanina's din. Why could Rabbi, as Rabbi taught in another case of the Mishnah, we have an next on it. Rabbi said the bedaf. There was a board in front of this shayvach. There was a daf. What's a daf? The shayvach is like a coop that has different compartments. Each one, we'll see soon, has in front of it definitely a small thing where the birds could come out. That was the case of Mishnah. The next case, the birds came out in front of it. Some of them have, on the bottom of the whole shayvach, a longer daf board that's sticking out. And birds from the world b'chlal are always coming to this daf. Now, in the shayvach itself, those birds don't come because the birds that own or they're occupied the shayvach, they'll throw the ones out. So if there's a type of shayvach that has actually a daf, so the birds of the world are also here on this daf. So the fact that we're assuming it came from the world is because there's 2 chazakas over there. A, it's Rayim, and B, it's also Korev. It's just as Korev as its neighbor, white birds and black birds. So therefore, if you had black birds and white birds, one on the right and one on the left side, and they exchanged places, we're not going to say they were exchanged places, and the black came from the left and from the right, because it's Korev, because actually the birds from the world are also Korev. Because speaking about the case, there's a daf. And in addition, the rabbis in the world. So it's not a Rayim to Rab Chanina. Let's look into Rashi now. The Gemara.
I mean, why couldn't he just put I've seen that where they put a little red thread.
Yeah, of course, that would make sure. Sure.
100%.
If you did that,
then there'll be no Mishnah, you know. That can be
the
whole Mishnah is I eat it for guessing. I get that for guessing. Not consumer. Oh, it's not from Karen. Was not from top. They don't need that bunny there, right? The bunny need it's a shayla. It's not so posh. If everyone will do the right thing and the right way, everything will be so simple, right? He woke up late. The other person asked a shayla the other day. He said, on Friday afternoon, you daven shachas, you do tachon and not akash. What's an akash? Now davening in the free, the tzayich. So if there'll be everything will go yasha, hilach yasha, there'll be no shaylas. Yeah, but as it's no shaylas.
He says no.
He said what? He said can't say tachon.
Yeah, the chatzah is finished.
Even though he's doing shachas. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'm saying it's. Okay. Musif also. Musif. Let's say erev davening musif. and Shabbos is Erev Rosh Chodesh or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's costly. What? Tonight? No.
Oh, tomorrow.
No, tomorrow night.
So Erev Rosh Chodesh. No, so Musaf L'Mashu. So Mincha, you don't say Tzkos because Tzkos is Erev.
Right.
But Musaf, yeah, you say Over Rachamim because what if you die Musaf after Chatzes? Also the same thing. These say Over Rachamim because the Erev Rosh Chodesh. Saying, "Oh, I get Yosher." Tells Shulchan Aruch have Musaf in time. You Musaf down till 7th hours. It's also after Chatzes. So it's not like against it. Okay. So anyway, he didn't do it. If it would be easier, but he didn't do it. Kagoyin Shazim says the Rashi Kagoyin Shazimein Shchayrim Ulevanim. So we can't look at the Mishnah Mamish. He only was Mazamin Shchayrim, or no, the case was he did both, but they exchanged. Mishnei Kinin in two different kinin coops. The Chol Hakinin Muvdalim. The Rashi is describing how it worked. Those coops. The Chol. I think the word is coop. I don't. The Chol. Coop. Yeah. Okay. So the Chol Hakinin Muvdalim b'mechitzes. There is a ken, and the ken, this little box, is separated by mechitzes, va'alis, and also a higher and lower levels, right? Kederech. Called Shevchin Asuyin Aliyes Harbe, like a Shevach. Apparently, Shevach is more familiar, and Kup is not so. So it's a Shevach. This is how with many levels. The Chol Aliyah Yesh Mechitzas Harbe. There are many levels and many mechitzas within every floor. So now they were saying, yes, you put the white ones on top or on the side, the black ones at the bottom, and now they exchange places, and that was our Shaila. Says next to Rashi. The Hishkim in the morning he woke up. What did he see? This is what the Mishnah is saying. You designated the black ones in this cane. We found their white ones in place of the black ones. And you examine the white ones in the second one. We found black ones. So it says maybe it's a Rayim that the Mishnah says here that you follow, and it's Osur, it's Muktzeh, you follow the Rave of the world, that Rabbi Chanina, it's a Baba Basra, B'layachre, Perk L'yachre, Roiv V'Korev. So Rashi explains what does it mean, Roiv V'Korev, if you have this dilemma. Im ba ma'is l'faneinu, if a story comes before us. V'yesh l'tloiser, b'davar ha'korev lei, lahatir, oy leseir. You could be toile that this thing comes from something close, either to be matter or to asir, but you're going to follow the chazak of something that's close, or v'yesh l'tloiser, you could be toile achar ha'roiv, or you could say let's follow the roiv, li'inyan acher, chiluf ha'korev, and you're going to exchange, and not going to be the korev. You have to follow the rev. This is what the Mishnah says. Because you could be toile. You can be toile these black ones, but you could be toile the black ones now in the place of the white ones. They were the same black ones that were next to it, and you also mazaman them, so they're not muktzeh. You could also be toile levanim, so you could be toile in the korev, or you could say the loyman and to say nehebchu. They exchange places. The loytolino. We're not going to say that's what happened. What are you going to say? Elamini. What is the Mishnah asking? What do you say? It's also it's muktzah. Why? Elamini. We say mi'alma also came from the world. Umiruba pirshu, and it was poirish from the roif. So it's a raya to Rab Chanina. Says Abaye, not necessarily. Abaye says l'kamon. We'll see later. Bedaf. So yesh daf l'fnei hashevach. There was a board before the shevach. Boilet sticking out. V'yoytzim emeno. It goes out of the shevach. V'sham boyim v'yoyshvim yoinim the alma. On that daf, that board comes and sits and rests the yoinim, the doves from the world b'chlal. Taught it all the time. Now, sheyireim the konis. Why can they go into the cane itself? They're scared to come into the cane itself. Why? Those doves in the cane itself, they occupy the cane. Megarshin, they chase away as kol haba alei and whoever other doves who come into their cane. Uksheyotzim mishoivach elu. But when they go out of the shoivach, those birds, those pigeons from the world, they could come inside. So maybe that's what happened. Maybe the black ones that occupied this part of the shevach flew away. At that point, the strangers, the pigeons that are resting on the daf, now they're not scared to come inside the cane, and they're now occupying the cane, and therefore under their muktzah. Look at Chashina, we're worried. Shema min hadaf bo likinin. Maybe the birds came from this daf inside the coops. Hilka chasurim. It says also called this muktzeh. The havalu kulu kroivim, because they're all kroivim shebedaf. Oh, so now in this case, they're all kroivim. We thought before was a dilemma. this one has a maila, right? That it's karev, and the other one is roiv.
Yeah.
No, they're also karev because they were on the daf. Shabadaf, v'shabekei, hilkach zil basaruba. Therefore, we're going basaruba. Next piece of the Gemara. Dr. Gemara, you designated 2 and you found 3, so it must be 1 pigeon is muktzeh. Now, so he says it's also Manashach, says the Gemara. Manashach. If the whole original group of 2 flew away and I was a new group of 3, obviously all 3 of them are muktzeh, so you can't use any of them. Now, if the whole group is not new, the 2 original birds stayed there, but a new one came in, there's one muktzeh bird that's mixed together with the other 2. Now, what's the problem with another muktzeh bird mixed together? So you might go and take and eat from the one who's muktzeh. You have 2 against 1, and you have a klal of roiv. So who cares if we have one muktzeh bird amongst 2 other birds? We have roiv, and therefore it should all be bottled, but we should be able to use all 3. Kum teisis. Says teisis. Ikechad. Teisis on top teisis on top of the other. Yeah? Ikechad ma'arev behu. One is mixed with the other 2. V'im toima, if teisis will bottle beruba, let's say that this one bird is bottled bereif in the 2. So 2 answers says teisis. V'yesh leiman, the balechayim loy botli, the chshivi. Any balechayim, live animals, we don't say the klav of bittul because they're choshuv. And the choshuv is not bottled. Inami, another answer, we had the Masechta earlier on. Havale davar sheish lematirin. Muktzeh is always davar sheish lematirin because after Shabbos you could use it, and therefore whenever we have a cloud, we want to use the rule of bittul to make muktzeh bottle. We say no, wait till after Shabbos davar sheish lematirin. La'achayamtiv. V'chol davar sheish lematirin. I feel bad for the bottle. The rule is anything that could become bottle, everything that could become mutter, even in 1,000, it's not bottle because wait a little bit and you're going to become mutter. The 2 reasons why we don't say one bird whose muktzah is going to be bottled amongst 2 birds that are mucha and that are mezuma. We skipped that Rashi. Let's look at the Rashi. We didn't do the Rashi Manavshach. The 3rd line for the big lines of the Gemara in the Rashi. Pirushi de masnisinhi. The Gemara is mefarish the committee, the mission of Manavshach telling us either way you look at it, you can't use those 3 birds. The Kaleimah. Lahachi asurim. Why they also be Manavshach? Either way, latiram. Every way you want to be mated it, you can't be mated it. Next piece of Gemara. Zokti Gemara weiter. The other case of the Mishnah was you put down 2, you put down 3, and you found 2. Says the Gemara, Shloisho Matzah Shnayim, and here it's going to say Mutum. We're going to say 1 flew away, and these 2 belong to the original group. My time. What's the reason? Hani, we say Hani Inu Ninu. These are the other ones. The Chad, the original. The Chad Minayu, one of them, Ozala Alma went to the world, flew away. Okay, that's the club. The Rayim masnisin the Rabbi, the late Rabbanon. Maybe let's say in that case, our Mishnah will follow the opinion of the Rabbi, not the Rabbanon. Where do we see that the Rabbanon would not hold of this din? A very similar din concerning Meiser Sheni. Very bekitzer, the 7 years of Shemitah, right? All the 7 years, the 6 years of Shemitah, one must first take Truma, then to give to the Kohen, then one must take Meiser Risho and give to the Levi. Now, the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th year, you take Meiser Sheni. You separate after you did Meiser Rishoin, you separate again Meiser and whatever's left, and that has to be eaten in Yerushalayim or padui on money, and money take spent in Yerushalayim. What?
You're dealing with the Daiser over here, no?
With Meiser, yeah, well, yeah.
Or is
the Rabbanon book. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Mashin is the Reis, sure. Amongst the Rabbanon, yeah. Blum is it. Well, let's just say about this. The second and the 6th year, we know the Meiser is not Mashin. What's Meiser on? Okay. What happens with the money? So you have money. You could put money out and you could leave it for a long time. You have to. That money itself, Mamish has it's kedusha to it. You put it into a wallet, into a keys, and you write it Meiser, you write mem on it, and this is going to be Meiser. You can't use it. There's also halachas about exchange. You can't take from this money to put into other money also with Balzen. What happens if I had 2 mana? 2 mana. Money is 100 zuz. I have 200 zuz in one place of Meiser Sheni. And then I come back one day to take the Meiser Sheni to go to Yerushalayim. I see there's only 1 mana. There's only 100 zuz over there. Same shayla. What do we say? Do we say there's 1 mana? So that means 1 mana was taken away. I don't know where it is. Fine, but this is going to be considered Meiser Sheni money. I can't go and spend it. It belongs to Hektish. Or do we say no? the original, how did one leave here? It must have been the whole 200 was taken away, the 2 mana taken away, and someone replaced it with someone with a new mana, and therefore this mana is going to be not Meiser money. That's one shaila. Another shaila, the opposite. I put down 1, right? And then I found 2. So what do you say there? Do you say the original 1 was taken away and somehow two mana was placed here? Or do we say no? The original 1 is still here, and this is a new mana that was just. I have a mix of Ma'aser Sheni and Chulin. It's a problem. Let's look at the Ma'aser. It says in Mishnah Cheder, we're going to say that our Mishnah is not the Rabbanon, but it's a Rebbe. Now, what's the problem saying is the Rabbanon, not the Rebbe? We'll see soon in Rashi. Let's first go weiter. It says the Gemara, Tanya, we looked in the Beitza, you put 1 mana, 100 zuz of Ma'aser Sheni, and you found 200 zuz in the place of the 100 zuz. So the din is, what is this 200? Chulin u'Ma'aser Sheni muravim zeh b'zeh. It's considered chulin and Ma'aser mixed together, and Rashi will work out what is normally done with a mix of chulin and Ma'aser Sheni. Divrei Rabbi. This is the root of Rabbi. Chacham say, we don't say this the original Ma'aser Sheni is here. Hakel chulin. Why do we say hakel chulin? Because it doesn't make sense that Chacham say that somehow someone added 100 to here. There's groups. The original group money was taken away, and new money came, and therefore it's totally chulin. There's no Ma'aser Sheni here. Your Ma'aser Sheni is somewhere else. You don't know where it is. That's the first case. Next case of the Mishnah. The first case is not very relevant to our Gemara because it's not our case of our Mishnah. Now, if you place 200. That's going to be similar to our mission. You put down more birds, and one came less. Put down 200 zuz, and you found 1 mana, 100 zuz. So what do we say? The person who came to take away 1 mana, he left the original mana, and he took out 1 mana, so therefore your money here is going to be a Ma'aser Sheni mana. It's the word of Rabbi. Chacham say, Hakel chulin, this whole mana is chulin. Why? We say no. A person came and tampered with your money. He must have taken the original.
And this is a new one.
This is a new one. That's what he says. Okay. So Chayda, what do we see here? So what did Rabbanan say? The Rabbanan would hold if the Rabbanan hold in the case where you had 2, and now you have 1. What do we say? The Chum say that the 2. We don't say the 1 is from the original. We say the 2 left. And there's a new one here. So by the birds as well, the Chum would say, if you had 2 birds, 3 birds, and 1 left, so what are you going to say? We're not going to assume the 2 are from the original. He assumes they work in groups. So 3 must have left, and there's 2 more here, 2 new ones. So our Mishnah is not according to the Chachamim. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Says the Gemara, Afilu Teimer Rabbanon. You could even say to Rabbanon. There's a very big difference between wallets that have money in it and birds that are able to jump around. Didn't we learn on this to teach the pshat in our Mishnah? Rabbi Yechon and Rabbi Lazar, Damir Tavayu, Rabbi Yechon and Rabbi Lazar both say shani goizlois, pigeons are different. Because they're accustomed to jumping around. A wallet can't jump. So it must have been a Yad Adam came here and was tampering with the money. So Chum say, if a Yad Adam came, he wouldn't take half and leave half. He took the whole thing, and somehow something else was replaced over here. But birds could jump around. They're independent birds. So from 3 birds, you say one of them got wild and jumped around and left the coop, and the other 2 originally stayed. So it could even be that our Mishnah is according to the Chachamim. That's what this is the inyan. Yes, now it's even to Chachamim. Birds are different. Everyone's going to agree that's what happens. Now, it's a little bit complicated here, but it's not something just to understand it. It's Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar, they both give this answer. Now the Gemara is going to say, why does both Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar have to answer this in our Mishnah? Look, according to what we're going to learn, how they learn Pshat by the Mishnah of the wallets and the Mana, both of them don't have to learn this way Pshat. One of them can learn our Mishnah Pashit. Pashit. Let's go through the Gemara. Zok the Gemara, frag the Gemara. Now, Itmar Allah. This Itmar Allah is on the Mishnah by the Ma'aser Sheni. So now we just say that Yochanan and Elazar, they both learned Pshat in the Mishnah by the Gezleis that is speaking about because the birds could jump around, therefore everyone's going to agree that it's going to be Muktzah. Now, we learned by the Mishnah by the wallets, also Rabbi Yochanan and Elazar said something, and based on the way they interpret the wallets, the one who interprets the wallet in a specific way doesn't have to interpret our Mishnah to say the reason why we say it's Muktzah because birds jump around. Let's see what it says. So didn't we learn on the Pshat in the Mishnah by the Ma'aser Sheni? That one, that Mishnah Ma'aser Sheni, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yochanan was saying Pshat in that Mishnah, and that Beitza. Chad Amar once said, B'shnei kisin machlokes, with two different wallets. That's when there's a machlokes. That means one mana was in one wallet, and the second mana in the second wallet. And that's when the Rabbi says that we assume that one wallet was taken away and the other one stayed. And the Chacham say no, it's even 2 wallets were both taken away, because it's hard to imagine that a person opened up a wallet and took out 100 zuz and left another 100 zuz. If there were 2 wallets there, then we could assume 2 wallets. A guy took 1 wallet away. He left. Chacham say no, a guy was here and he took both. Okay, but if it's only 1 wallet, Rabbi is going to say then that he went, opened the wallet, left original 100, took out 100 away. Even Rabbi, according to the Shita, would agree to the Chachamim that in that case it's going to be Chul. That's one way. Either Rabbi Yochanan or Rabbi Elazar learns the Machlekes in this way. The other way to learn Machlekes is so Chadama one says B'shnei kisim Machlekes 2 wallets. Other case Echad is 1 wallet. Echad hadir hakil Chulin. Chadama the other Amayra learns Pshat in that Beitza B'kisa Echad Machlekes. At Faket, Rabbi holds no. Rabbi holds even in 1 wallet it's possible a person took out 100. So and Chacham is saying no, that's not possible. I will be shnei kisim. If there's 2 kisim, even the Chacham will agree to Rabbi that if there's 2 wallets over there, it's a very different case, because 2 wallets, we say, yeah, I agree to you, Rabbi. Person might take 1 wallet or not. This is 2 ways of interpreting the Mishnah, the Beitza by Ma'aser Sheni. Now, according to the one that says the machlekes is about 2 wallets, so I can understand that here the only way to explain our Mishnah according to Chachamim is going to say that birds jump around, and therefore that's the difference between that case and our wallet. Because if we say that machlekes is about Shnei Kisim, and our case is the Shnei Kisim, the birds are the same case as Shnei Kisim. Let's not forget the birds are the same exact case as two different wallets, because birds are separate. So, and if you hold that machlekes, the Chacham also hold the 2 wallets. There's a machlekes. So the only way you can touch the Chacham is to say that the birds are different. Kind of okay. But according to the one that says that the machlekes is in 1 wallet, meaning if there will be 2 wallets, everyone will agree. Everyone agrees. So why do we have to say that our Mishnah is different than the case of the wallets? Because the Mishnah is speaking when a bird jumps around. We don't need that. Because if you hold that the whole machlekes by the wallets there are only when there's 1 wallet, but by 2 wallets, Chacham also agree that one takes one, leaves the other. So the birds is the same as that case of the 2 wallets. So there'll be no need to come and say birds are different because they jump around. Say it again. Is that? There's 2 ways of learning the machlekes by Ma'aser Sheni. If you hold by Ma'aser Sheni, when there's 2 wallets, there's no machlekes. Chacham also agree with the Rabbi that a person 2 wallets, a person can take one, leave the other one. If you hold that, then our Mishnah with 3 birds is a case of 2 wallets. There's no machlekes, so there's no shaila chatchila. Our Mishnah is like Rebbe like the Chacham. So it's like Chacham. According to the other way of learning machlekes by the Ma'aser Sheni, that even by 2 wallets of machlekes, and our Mishnah says by the 2 birds, 1 is taken away and 1 was left. That we assume, and there we see by 2 wallets, Rebbe say we don't assume. We even assume that both wallets taken away. That birds are different. But if you're going to touch the whole machlekes of Rabbanon, that they hold that if the 2 wallets are going to agree to Rebbe that you leave 1, why do you have to come and answer the idea of that? So I'm going to Beitza says the Gemara So Omar Ashi, the reason why we have to answer that birds are jumping on different. The geizlos are tied together with ropes, the birds, and the wallets also are tied together with ropes. So geizlos, the menatchia dodi, geizlos that are jumping around, so the ropes could grip each other. Therefore, one might have flown away, the other one could stay. But kisle menatchia dodi. Wallets, you can't say naturally after you tie it together, somehow it got untied. What does Rabbi say in that case? Rabbi Amalach, Kisanami seems possible, the Misakiv Kirtayu, it's possible the Misakil Kitrayu, that the knot gets undone by itself. So Shapshat is going to say like this, we're going to say that the case by the Kisno, so everyone holds that the wallet is there, but when it's saying one wallet, wouldn't mean one wallet mamish. No means one wallet mamish. One wallet mamish, no one's going to assume taken away. It means two wallets bedoimed to one wallet. It was tied together. So that's how the machlekes is going to be there. When Belezer and the Yechanan are touching chat to say can be kis echad, the mishneh kis machlekes. It's not all speaking about mamish one or two wallets. Speaking about a wallet, two wallets either tied together or not tied together. And durch that can verstehen that therefore we have that's a pshat that we're saying that birds are different because that we're going to say that our mission by birds. Everyone's going to agree. Everyone agrees that when it comes to birds, we say it's very possible for the strings to get undone and untied. Mashenki, when it comes to the wallet, to the machlekes, Rabbi holds that's also possible for the strings to get untied. And Chamos, it's not possible. It's not likely to say the strings were untied. Let's do Rashi and Taisvis, yeah?
Yeah.
So, let's see. Rashi, the last word of the line is like a bracket in my Gemara. 3 lines from the top. Yep. Rabbi. Let's say our mission is Rabbi, and for the big lines over here. Down 3 lines from the big lines in Rashi. Now, what's my Rashi? Is the mission like Rabbi? So the mission like Rabbi. What's my Rashi? Says Rashi, Hamas listen stomahi. The mission doesn't mention it. If it would say Rabbi, no problem. There's a stam mission. No, Marash for Stam Mishnah is Rabbi, but the Halacha Kistam Mishnah. Halacha Kistam Mishnah. No, right? The Marash and Halacha Rabbi is Stam Mishnah, but we have a klal and on Kaimel we have a klal Halacha Rabbi Mechaveiroi v'loy Mechaveirov. The Halacha is like a Rabbi when he's arguing with his colleague, with his Chaveir, singular. But if Rabbi is arguing with a group of Chachamim, Halacha Chachamim. So and we know the rule is also Halacha Kistam Mishnah. So how can it be 2 things? Side Halacha is Kistam Mishnah. And that's the rule. Aside the rule is that halacha kechacham to Rabbi only mechaveiroi not mechaveirov. So halacha kechacham, and then we're going to say it's like a Rabbi. That's the Gemara's kasha. That's what I'm saying. Do we say it's like a Rabbi? I have a question. It can't be like a Rabbi. A stam mission must be the chacham. If there's a machlekes, they have the chacham. That's what Rashi explains. Yeah. Weiter, the case of Ma'aser Sheni, hiniach mona, mimois Ma'aser Sheni, and he put the money of Ma'aser Sheni, beteva into a box. Chulin u'Ma'aser Sheni morofin zeh bezeh. That we're saying it's a mix. One is chul. The first case, everyone agrees to that because the first case you put down 1 and you found 2, right? So 1 must be. So you have chul. No, there's a machlekes, but the Rebbe holds it's a mix together. You don't know which one. But so now what do you do now? Says Rashi. So what do you do when you have chulin and ma'aser shenim? So taste is going to have an issue with Rashi. Let's focus on Rashi a second. So what do you do tak if you have chul and shenim mixed together? You don't know which ones are what. This is what you're supposed to say Rashi. Take the better coins. Let's say you have 200 coins here, right? And 100 is one quality, the other 100 is from a lesser quality. You take the better quality coins, and you want to give that to Ma'aser Sheni. Oh, you always want that hektish should have the advantage, right? So you take the better quality coins, but you can't just go ahead and use that. But the other one might be the real Ma'aser Sheni. And what do? We say, if this better quality coins is the original Ma'aser Sheni, Shel Ma'aser Hareyofe. Very good. It's the better ones. If this better quality coins was really chulin, and the other one, the inferior coins, is Ma'aser Sheni, you're going to exchange it, take the kedusha, then you're going to say, let its chaver, its fellow coins, be mechulal on this. In other words, the kedusha should be transferred from the inferior coins that might be Ma'aser Sheni onto what? Onto the better coins. So we see from Rashi, very interesting, that you're allowed to take coins after you made it Ma'aser Sheni, and you're allowed to go ahead and exchange it weiter onto other coins. But that's not a pashta thing like we have a taste with. There's the whole mission of Ma'aseh about this, bigger coins, smaller coins, the choishes and prutis, a whole issue about how you can go ahead and exchange even food. If you have food, Ma'aseh, can you go exchange it to other foods, only on money and Yishalayim? So but Rashi says, pashit, you take the coins that are better, and you say, if the Kedusha was on the inferior coin, let the Kedusha go from basically you're exchanging Kedusha from coin to coin.
You don't only hear because it's a suffix, so
He lets it, okay, those taste, yeah, so we'll see what to do with it, yeah. Then others are Hakel Chulin. The other ones, the Chum says everything is Chulin. Why? So the Chum say, no, if you found 200, we don't say it's a mix, we say it's whole Chulin. This is the Chacham's rule. Because you didn't find it the way you left it, that's a cloud. Therefore, you say, Toili lahakil. You're Toili lahakil. Because there's something wrong over here. I left one, I find two. It's a whole different dynamics. If we say, Natal, it's a Rishoim, for somehow I forgot, perhaps that someone took away the original 100. You put it somewhere else. And then you come and put 200 in this place. The shachach, and you forgot what you did. And he says, why? Because there's a klal or a chazaka against saying that a person would put chul together with ma'aser sheni. It says Chachamim. It's so unlikely that a person, people so careful ma'aser sheni, a person would just go ahead and add 100 chulim mixed ma'aser sheni. Why should a person do that? He forgot, of course, like we said before. The person would have remembered, everything would have been good, but he forgot. So we don't know what we're doing. So we say, so we're going to assume, says the Chachamim, that he took away the original and has a new one here. Manam, so what's a manam mutal? So the second case was you put down 2. The nishar hach manam, one was left over mimaisa. Or the Chachamim say no hakel chulin. Even the case we had 200 and you left with 100, the Chachamim say everything is chulin. Weiter, hoyu, v'loi haleilu l'shalayim, loi hifridon zemizeh. Being you did not take it to bring it up to Yerushalayim yet. So you didn't separate them from another. Ushneim notlon, you took down both of them. So chances are a person took both the 200 and put it somewhere else. This is new money here. How this person placed the achikach v'shachim and later and forgot. Shani Geisla, as we say, the first answer was that guys are different. That's how you could say about the birds that one flew away, the other one stayed because they jump around. Because they're accustomed, they are accustomed to jumping around. Echad, the one by one they jump around. They go in and out of the coop. A manik doesn't jump, doesn't go by itself. Only if a person goes and takes it. And we said before, the machlekes is if a person, what's the psychology here? If a person takes it, does he take both or not? Because now we have this arichis of the back and forth. Let's look into Taisus a moment, because I don't know if we're going to, a few minutes left. The second Taisus in the Amit, yeah? Chad minayu ozel almo. So what do we say by the birds? We say, the Mishnah says, and the Gemara explains, that if you had lechatchila 3 and you found 2, what do we say? 1 flew to the wind. V'im torah factaisus. V'chitalinon l'kula v'davar sheyesh l'matirin. Let's not forget, it's although sheyesh l'matirin, because after Yom Tov you use everything. So we're not telling l'kula. There's another cloud we had also in the beginning of the Masechta. First of all, we said a cloud that davar sheyesh l'matirin a fil b'elef bottle. And also, we're not telling l'kula. When you have a child to kuluchum, why say l'kula? Let's say l'chumra and say maybe they came from the world, new ones, and it's muksa, because you can use it after Yom Tov. And for the Gemara, it's not stam a suffix. If you have a 50-50 suffix here, then you say the rule, let's be machmer, why not? Let's not be making it. The hoil, the nishalu shnayim bim koimam, being 2 stayed put in this place, you found 2 over here. It doesn't go into the explanation. It doesn't explain what it really is saying. But apparently the text is saying here that there are type of cases where there's a 50-50 chance, and you don't know, and therefore you're going to be machmer if it's Dovshish Matin. Mashiach here, you found 2 birds. So why should you go assume there's a very strong chance, a very big chance, that these are from the original woods, and therefore in this case we're not going to be telling lechumra. We explain what Rashi says. If you have to mix them both together, what do? You take coins A and put on, pay them coin B. Rashi explains, choose the better quality coin. Should be sharing from both of them. You should say when you're holding those better quality coin. That's what you're going to say. In zeh shel meiser, if this is the original meiser, mutter, very good. I'm taking something shalayim now. Im ha'achir shel meiser, if the inferior quality coins is really the meiser, so then I'm declaring now harei zeh mechulul al zeh. This the kedusha of meiser on the other ones are mechulal, are becoming chulin on this one, transferring kedusha from the inferior coins to the better quality coins. The table for Taisvis, it says the Mefarish of Perek Hazov, we see in Perek Hazov, Bob Mitzia, the Ein Mechalin Kesef al Kesef. You can't, they're speaking there about coins of Kesef and coins of Zov and coins of Nechoshes. The Nechoshes coins are called Prutes, and others are called Kesef and Zov. So there you have it. It's all from Psukim and the Mudim. I'm cooking Bob Mitzia, but what we get here is, we see the din is that you're not Mechal Kesef and Kesef. V'loy mois al mois, and not mois on mois, not from the cheshes and the cheshes. So how could that should come and say, if you have 200 zuz, apparently from the same quality, meaning it's all from kesef, or one is yof, or one is raw, but it's all from kesef, or all from zav. So how could I should just go simply and say, you make this declaration, you're not allowed to be exchanged. One has to be a different type of coin. You can take kesef, you can take, let's say, 100 smaller coins, and you want to put on a bigger coin. So that's what you could do on a gold into silver, etc. But you can't go and change just the same amount, 100 to another 100 for the same kesef. So the kach needed is a difference needed to me. The mechalel bitchila hamana shemaiser al purutes. You don't go direct. This is a technical thing. It actually, it's not really arguing. It's a technical thing. Don't go ahead and directly take the kedusha from this kesef to that kesef because it's not going to work. Says Taisvis. Rather take first and say, if you take the cheshes, puts from the cheshes, the equivalent of the 100 zuz, and you hold the better one in your hand, and you say the kedusha. Sorry, you hold the inferior one in your hand. You say the kedusha from this one, if it should go onto the prutas, and then the prutas will go onto the offer. You hold prutas shel cheshes, and you say wherever the mana is, whether the better or worse, it should go. The kedusha should go onto the prutas shel cheshes. And afterwards, you take the better quality coins. Mechaleloi, you mechalel, meaning mechilu means taking away the kedusha from the cheshes. Almana hayafa shebishneim, on the better mana from both of them. Okay, good. So we'll mamshich with next time from the top of the Daf Aleph from the Aleph. Yeah.
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 We want to do it now, yes. So we'll do it after
8 o'clock, yeah.
8 o'clock after Maghrib, 8 o'clock. We do it every Monday.
Maybe Monday. Okay.
Well,
I had 2